unscripted video. Woo! I'm not super experienced with these, but we're gonna give it our best. Hello everyone, my name is Roberto Christian, but you may call me Robby for short. And today, we are going to be talking about the Pokemon Bobs of the Pokemon world. I have identified 51 Pokemon designs that could potentially fall into the category of a Bob. But before we get into it, we gotta talk about the tiers. At the very top, we have Certified Bob, represented by Le Seraphim's Che1. You may be familiar with the viral moment from an MTV live stream.
Che1 Bob. Bob.
Oh, Bob, this Below that tier, we have That's a Bob. And it's exactly that, just a Bob, and is represented by Hormonal Lisa's iconic Bob from season 17, and that's why this tier is a color pink. Just below That's a Bob, we have So They Calling You Bob, which references the song with Nicki Minaj and B.O.B., the lyric where Nicki Minaj is saying, "Is your name B.O.B., so they calling you Bob?"
What's your name, B.O.B., so they calling you Bob?
And we know that Nicki Minaj is famous for her pink bob, but it is represented by Bob, the drag queen in Snatch Game, portraying Carol Channing.
I just wrote chord.
Yeah, it's always a good answer.
There's no...
And it's not represented by Nicki Minaj because Nicki has a fine, pristine bob, whereas this wig from Bob is not super polished. That's why it's the third tier. It's So They Calling You Bob, is your name Bob, and that's why they're calling you Bob, because it's not really a bob. And then obviously at the very bottom we have Chop. It's not a bob. Is this even a hairstyle? What are you doing here? Clearly you are not here to compete. That is not a bob. And starting off we have Absol, which is immediately gonna go Certified Bob. Mega Absol, Certified Bob. It's giving a symmetrical bob from both ways. You know, you have the little horn, which kind of has the shape of the bob from like on the other side, if you kind of twisted it. Are you seeing my vision? Am I explaining myself right? And the same thing with Mega Absol. It's just a little longer, a little more luscious, a little more styled. Blizzy. It's cute. If we were looking for a bob hairstyle on Blizzy, this is not it, but it has the potential. It would have had the potential of being a bob. I like the curls that circle her face, but the tufts are giving more pigtails rather than a bob. Minchino. Chinchino, actually. I don't know if this is a bob. I don't know if this is a bob. Yes, it's surrounding her face, and let's just get a little definition of what is a bob. A bob hairstyle is a kind of hairstyle that surrounds the face. It can be slick, it can be curly, it can be asymmetrical, as long as it rounds the face. That's the whole point of a bob. It has to round the face. It can be short, it can be long, up until the shoulders. If it's longer than the shoulders, then it's no longer a bob, it's just hair. This dog needs to shut the This channel is family friendly. Roberto, you do not curse in this channel. Por favor, ten la paciencia. I'm gonna say no. It wants to be a bob, but it's not quite a bob. It's coming from like the top of the head, but it goes behind the ear. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a bob to me, but it wants to be. There's the potential there. Now, Crabominable, mama, this is a chop. You're trying, but you're not here to compete. You're just here to be like, hi, you just put a little wig on, a little shake and go, and you tried it, but unfortunately that's a chop. Cresselia, hear me out. I'm gonna put it in bob. I think that's a bob. I think that's a bob. Cresselia's whole concept is the moon.
Look at the moon.
The shape of a crescent moon. I think that as a hairstyle and still styling it in a way that surrounds the face, I think that's a bob. I think that's a bob. Dartrix. I want to say it's a bob. And I'm biased because I really like Dartrix, but I mostly like Dartrix because of its cry. It looks more like a hood with a little bit of hair sticking out rather than a bob, so it's gonna go here. Dino. And while we're at it, we're gonna add Zweilous here because they're in the same evolutionary line. Is it a bob? Is it not? Because wherever I put Dino is where I have to put Zweilous. I'm gonna say no. This is not a bob. Now Espatra, however, Mama, that's a certified bob. It's Lady Gaga. It's Sia. The two most iconic bobs in the pop music industry. Get into it. Furfro. We have the Kabuki trim, and then we have the La Reine trim. Because every other trim that I looked at for Furfro wasn't really like a bob hairstyle. These two I was intrigued by. Kabuki trim, that is a bob. Yes, it has the longer like ear flaps, but the bob moment is really in the top. Now this one, I think it's trying to be a bob, but it's not quite a bob. It's just not there for me. Ralts. It's giving more helmet than it's giving bob, and that's why it's gonna go in chop. I'm sorry, okay? You can yell at me all you want in the comments, please do. Gives me engagement that I absolutely love because I want attention. It's not a bob, it's a helmet. Curlia, trying a little better, but not quite a bob. It's giving more pigtails than it is giving bob. Now, final evolutions. This is where we get into it. Gallade. Is it a bob? Gallade? I think that's a bob. Mega Gallade? It's giving more helmet than it's giving bob. Gallade is giving asymmetrical bob. Is Mega Gallade also giving asymmetrical bob? I'll say yes. I will say yes. It's giving more helmet, but it's giving helmet with class, with style. Gardevoir, that's a certified bob. Mega Gardevoir, that's a certified bob. Iron Valiant, it's a bob. But is it a certified bob? I don't think so. Because at the very end, where it's supposed to have the bob moment, like rocket booster things at the very back, it's like, it's a bob, but those rocket booster things, they bring it down. Glaceon, she has the bangs. She bangs, by Ricky Martin. But does she bob? Is the question. And I don't think she bobs. I think she's trying to be a bob, but it's not quite there because it's mostly bangs and, you know, los flequitos. I was having trouble articulating this when I was recording, but now that I'm editing it and I'm confident in my answer, Glaceon, she bangs, but does she bob is the question. And I don't think she bobs because she has the flequitos, but that is bald in the back. How are you, as a Pokemon connoisseur, as a Pokemon bob connoisseur, going to tell me that Glaceon has a bob when she is missing half of her material? I honestly should have put her in chop, but I at least recognize the attempt. Glaceon is not a bob, and you can argue with the wall. So much aggression. And for what? Gloom, chop. Gravert, and while we're at it, Houndstone. It's a little choppy, it's a little wavy, but there's potential here. I like this. Now, when you evolve, that's when you lose me. Your hair grows so long, it's like, you're a dog, so you don't have shoulders, but like, if you had shoulders, it would go past the shoulders. And it's also just not appealing. Gravert, it's a bob. Houndstone, that's a chop. Hatenna, is it a bob? If I have to hesitate, it's not a bob. But is it trying to be a bob? I don't think it's trying to be a bob. That's a chop. Is it? Just looking at Hatenna with the rest of this lineup, I have to bump it up a tier. It just, Hatenna doesn't belong down here. Now, Hatterene? Oh, that's a bob. Hattrem, it's giving pigtails. Hitmontop. Now hear me out. For the same reason that I gave Cresselia, that's a bob. I think Hitmontop has a bob. I really think he does. I'm sorry. I really do think that Hitmontop has a bob. Like, if you turn Hitmontop around from this image, it covers the face. It's, you know. Fine, I can feel you judging me even though like this is not happening in real time. I can already feel you watching this video in the future telling me, Robby, this is not it. Fine, but it's staying in this one and not a tier lower. Illumise, that's a certified bob. Inkay, if I have to hesitate, it's not a bob. If I have to hesitate, it's not a bob. I think Inkay is a chop. Now, Jinx, however, That's a certified bob. Now it does technically, Jinx is a humanoid Pokemon, so we're gonna, you know, think about this as a human would have a bob hairstyle, but when it comes to bobs, this is it. Jinx is the blueprint. Generation 1, that's a woman. She has to be in the certified bob category. She has to. She's included all the time. That bob is immaculate, and it deserves to be up there. Lunala. Hear me out. And this one, I'm really convinced about this one. Lunala has an upside down bob. And for the same reason, just think about it. Cresselia has a lunar bob. Lunala, also related to the moon, but Lunala is doing it even classier. But upside down, very stylized. It's a bob, it's surrounding the face beautifully, stylishly, but it's upside down. It's a moment. I love it. That's a bob. Marini. Technically she doesn't have shoulders, but I don't think it goes past the shoulders. I think that's a bob. Marini, I think that's a bob. Meditite. It's giving more, same reason as Blizzy, it's giving more pigtails. It's the garlic shape that's doing it for me. It makes me think of Maria from Metaphor Refantasio. And Maria from Metaphor Refantasio, that is one of the finest bobs I have ever seen in my life. That's a bob. Poniard. It's giving helmet. That's a chop. Petalil. Certified. Quaxley. Now Quaxley is in here because its hair has to be immaculate and shiny and beautiful and luscious. 24 hours of the day, 7 days a week.
7 days a week.
That duck truly works for its hair. And that's why it is here on this lineup, to be judged by us, by its peers, its Pokemon-loving peers. But unfortunately, a bob it is not. It's more the hairstyle of Elvis Presley. It's more of a pompadour. So, a bob it is not. Raikou! The more we get through this tier list, the more ridiculous it's getting, and I'm living for this. I think Raikou has a bob. Now Seeking doesn't have hair. Seeking is here because the design on its scales, the black stripes, are kind of simulating bob. It's giving a little bit of a bob moment, don't you think? Seeking stripes, it's giving bob. It's giving bob. Simipour. You gotta say it with me. That is a certified bob. Slurpuff. If I gave Meditite bob, I have to give Slurpuff bob. Because it's more or less the same style of dots at the end with like the little like hair moment at the top. Smoochum. If Jinx was the blueprint, when they gave her the baby form, they just knew they had to give her the most luscious bob. It's immaculate. You gotta say it with me. That is a certified bob. No, not there. She goes up here. Thank you. Snowrunt. Hear me out. It looks like a TP, but it surrounds the face beautifully. And we know that Pokemon don't necessarily have like hair. They have like bob moments like Seeking, where it's not really hair, but like it comes from the stripes. No, you're not gonna let me put Snowrunt in bob? Fine. I will not put Snowrunt in the bob category. I will put Snowrunt down here. Surskit. That's a bob. Or better yet, that's bob. That was funny, and you know it. But you know what it wasn't? A bob. In fact, it was giving this. Swadloon. Swadloon a bob, this is not. Swadloon a bob, this is not. This is just you wrapping yourself up in a blanket in your room being like, I'm cold. Tapu Lele. Now, Tapu Lele is one of those cases where this is technically a bob, but it's a very stylized bob. It's more of a curly bob. Because when you think of bob, you typically think of the straight hair like this. But bobs can be curly. Curly hair exists, and it is valid, and it is beautiful. This is a certified bob. Can you go up here? Thank you, Tapu Lele. You don't have to diminish yourself. You see how she didn't want to go into the certified bob category? She was very mindful. She was like, no, like I don't belong here. She was trying to be humble, but she deserves her flowers. That is a beautiful, stylized, and luscious bob. Tinka Tink. Tinka Tink was trying, and we're like, no, baby, no, that's not a bob. Those are just bangs. There comes a time in the life of a student of the Girly Pop University where they are doing research for a study of bobology, and they just encounter the most pristine bob that has ever bobbed, and that is Yuxi. Because look at how incredible this bob is. Immaculate. Beautiful. It's beyond. Volbeat, obviously similar to Illumise, it's kind of a bob. It is a bob, but Volbeat is sporting it more like if it was a collar rather than it was like its head. Maybe it's just the way it's posing, but it's not an immaculate bob like Illumise's. So we're gonna put it in, that's a bob. Walrein. No, that's a chop. Walrein, why are you even here? Who invited you? And we finish with Whimsicott. That's a bob. And those are the Pokemon bobs of the Pokemon universe. Let me know if I missed out on any Pokemon that deserve to be on this list. I forgot Alolan Dugtrio. Certified bob.